Alright, welcome back to Phantom X Gaming. We are back in Kerbal Space Program. Now, the title could be a little bit confusing, especially with the thumbnail. The thumbnail is from another mission I did earlier today that I didn't intend to do. That will be probably in a video later on. However, there is some news coming out of the Kerbal Space Center that a new moon has entered orbit around Kerbin. Now, this has sparked a lot of controversy within the Kerbals and all of their facets. And now they want me to go figure out what is going on with that new moon. Now, I did a secret mission earlier to try to get an idea of what this looked like. And I can tell you right now that it is the absolute most amazing moon I have ever seen in this entire game. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the Space Center. And before we do that, I was also told that the Kerbals have expanded the Space Center to try to accommodate a lot more going on with all of this new stuff that's been happening. Now, if you've missed any of my other lives, after this one, go back and watch the other lives. You'll get caught up on the storyline of it. And that being said, let's jump over to the Space Center. All right, so we are back at the Space Center. As you can see right here, they have expanded it immensely. This is crazy expansion, and I had no idea they were doing this. So we have a lot more runways to work with for space planes that we may or may not use at some point. I do have a couple in the works right now. It's taken a while to get them fully functional, but this is about where we are with this. So let's see what we can do about exploring that new moon. Welcome back, Harrison. Yeah, aka mods. Yeah, I have modded KSP in a very very large way. Uh, I can't help myself. I have no supervision. I need supervision. But now this is a rocket I've been working on for the past week. I have been testing the heck out of it to make it work properly, and it does in fact work properly. In fact, it works well enough that I was actually able to go into solar orbit, launch the boosters into the sun, and then get back into Kerbal orbit. So this works really well. So now that I've said that, of course it's gonna do something, and the Kraken's gonna show up, and bad things may or may not happen. We don't really know. The landing gear I just put on earlier. I have not really tested it, so we'll see what happens with it. Rainy days are dangerous for Phantom. Yeah, they are. They're definitely dangerous for me. If it is raining out or storming or anything like that, I can't do my day job, which is training horses. And that results in me looking at mods and then saying, ooh, that looks fun. I'll put that in. And then, ooh, that one looks good too. I'll put that one in. And then before you know it, I have another 300 or 400 mods. So we're going to turn on SAS and RCS. And I forgot to drop this back down into there during testing. So let's bring that landing gear up. And that's taking a while. I forgot to adjust the speed. The sun must be mad that I launched boosters at it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's why it launched a new moon. Do not let this guy around a moddable game. Yeah. That is a very common thing for me to do. If it's moddable, I'm gonna do it. All right, 3, 2, 1, launch. Alright, so nothing bad has happened yet. We are off the ground. We're hitting around 1,000 meters. No wonder the sun is brighter. We are going through the volumetric clouds. Those are really nice clouds today. I'm definitely happy I installed BlackRock's volumetric clouds. It does take a lot of resources. It takes a huge amount of resources. So if you have a potato computer, then I wouldn't mess around with it just yet. We should banish me to console gaming. I don't know about that. At risk of losing 98% of my viewers, I personally, now this is my personal opinion, I don't prefer console. It's not on Space Dock. It's actually on his Patreon. I don't know if there's a free version of it. I am actually just subbed to his Patreon so I can get fully updated, set to go versions of it. And so that's how I do it. Zoom out just a little bit here so we can get rid of some of that volume. You only play console with family or friends? Yeah, I don't play console at all. I enjoy my mods. And I enjoy writing mods too, so I can't really do that on console. Now, this rocket is designed so that way once I am in orbit, I can actually control each booster and deorbit it manually. And then same with the lower stage of the rocket, I can do that as well. Right, we have reached a decent height. I'm still going to push it up even further. I'm going to push it way out to probably over here. I should consider programming mods. I do write mods for different things. I have written mods that I've used in KSP, but with all the updates back at that point in time that were coming out, I didn't really want to take the time to keep up with it. So I just kind of set it on the back burner for now. Alright, we are just about at about 160 meters. Our apoapsis is at 1 million so far. We're going to keep pushing that up. Then I also have crossfeed on these boosters as well, so it keeps the main engine fully fueled. And we should stop right around here. Alright. So there's that. We're going to use the existing fuel and go ahead and add a maneuver. Circularize, shift around to that. That might take a while. These are not very powerful SAS systems. With KSP getting no updates, it's a blessing for modders, but for vanilla players, it's a curse. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely... I would like to see them get back into it, especially with the recent boost in players and the interest in space exploration and things like that. My opinion on KSP2, realistically, I personally won't buy it. I was watching it for a while, but then I found out from another friend of mine that they completely stopped development to the extent that the office that they were doing the development in is completely abandoned. There's nothing in it. There's no people, no development, no nothing. Pretty sure the space is up for rent now. So they have zero intentions to go back to it. And we're going to go ahead and time warp to our maneuver. Way out in space. 5.3 million kilometers. Or meters. Imagine if KSP came back from the dead and made a KSP movie. A lot of KSP specific YouTubers have made movies with the with KSP 1, and they're actually pretty good. You can check out people like Matt Lown and people like him that have made movies. We are 20 seconds away from our burn. I'm not gonna use time warp, only because I'd like to actually avoid the Kraken this time around. I have been testing this so much that every time the game crashed, I restarted a new save and changed parts around, tried to figure out what parts are causing the crashes, and now we're left with a version that so far has not crashed the game. Yeah, I also like Matt Lown. He's a really good YouTuber. He puts a lot of effort into his videos. Boris Johnson. That's a different story. Alright, we are 30 seconds past our burn. We should probably do that now. And we are in orbit. There's Kerbal down there. Let's see here. How close can I get? That's pretty close. I'm going to keep bringing that down just a little bit, and there we go. So that should put us in a decent orbit. There we go. All right, so in my testing, I have discovered that the new moon creates one heck of a weird orbital pattern, and making maneuvers is incredibly difficult. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stage the boosters. I'll switch over to this one, flip it around retro, and we're going to go ahead and deorbit the first booster. And burn. There they go. Switch over to the map, make sure that actually deorbits. That's pretty good. And then we're going to zoom in way in here and see if we can... We're going to speed up time just a little bit for the sake of trying to get the other spacecraft into view. We're going to switch over to this one. Come on. Let me have it. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and retrograde that one. Your Keisler Ring project has been completed. You made visible rings around Kerbal in your main save. You're going to have to post that on Discord and show everyone, because that's one heck of a feat. We're going to go ahead and burn and get this out of orbit. There we go. Just about the same place as that one for the most part. We're going to fast forward time just a tiny little bit here. And get that into view. And switch. You meant that sarcastically? Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. So now we are left with the main stage here. And on this probe that I have here, it's got the landing legs that I custom built. That took a little while to get figured out. Every time I tested a different system, the Kraken decided that it wasn't good enough, so I had to keep trying. So I ended up with these. We're going to go ahead and bring that right there so I can see it. Aim camera, zoom in more. So this is what I ended up with the alligator hinge and a girder segment. a regular hinge, and a grip pad. Now, I did take Cam's advice and put the sticky frog feet on it. That way I don't slide around. And so this lander does work. I have tested it enough that I am confident that it might possibly work. Where was reset camera? There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna go back out to the map, zoom way out, because we have some stuff to work out. We're gonna add a maneuver node right here, I think. We're gonna bring that the wrong way. There we go. Wait, no, get past the moon. Or the mun. Really cool landing legs. Thank you. Yeah, it took me about an hour and a half or so, roughly. So not that long in the grand scheme of things to try to get it to work. Yeah, so this rocket actually took probably, I'd say 25-ish hours to get right. All right, so we're gonna bring this out. There we, ooh. Nope. Bring it out a little bit more. I think we'll stick with that, just to get us out away from the mun, and then we'll adjust our orbit from there to intersect this new moon. Now, I don't remember if I told you or not, but this moon is actually one of the best looking moons I have ever seen in my entire life in a game. The amount of detail is absolutely amazing. So now we're going to go ahead and warp to our maneuver. And as we get closer, I am going to stay out in the map screen a little bit more just because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I want to make sure we're nice and close so you can see all of the detail. Testing that also did take a little bit of time because I had to figure out exactly how much gravity this new moon has. Kerbin is stealing all the moons? Yeah, they are. Did I just use showers as a metric of time? I don't remember. I don't remember what I said a few seconds ago. We're 30 seconds out from burn, so we're going to try to time this really carefully because the gravity of this new moon is absolutely insane. It is just as insane as it is amazing graphics. So we're 10 seconds out. 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, I'm bored. And that is a slow burn. Oh, it took 25 hours, not showers. Do I need parachutes? So if I want to get this back to Kerbin, yes, I need the parachutes because in my testing, I was not able to get this lander to swing around to retro. And there we go, and we're gonna stop right now. And we're gonna do a little bit of a slow burn. Oh, I burned too far. And then what am I getting caught in? I guess I could work with that. So let's get rid of that. And we'll time warp to here. In theory, I should be able to get an encounter with this new moon right here and then get our ship into orbit. Now, I'm not going to stage the primary fuel tanks and boosters because we do need that for our additional mission that I did not say anything about. And that is to land on Minmus. Now, if you look at our projected path right here, we're going to get an encounter with the new moon, get launched out around, go straight through Kerbin, and we're going to end up getting our encounter with Minmus, but we're going to go ahead and rotate around the new moon first so we can get a nice close-up of it. Yeah, we are doing an extra mission today. So let's see here. We should probably do a little bit of a time warp to here just to see exactly what's going on. Alright, so we'll continue to warp through time just because this isn't quite giving us enough fast enough. And it looks like we ended up back in orbit around Kerbin. So I wonder if I go prograde, I can push this out just a little bit and get a better encounter. And if you hear loud noises in the background, that's some random neighbor shooting off fireworks for whatever reason. Alright, that's close enough. We should be able to get something out of that. Extend that out. And there we go. That looks a little bit better. So we do have to go around Kerbin. So I'm going to go ahead and warp to here. I really hope my... Okay, it is above Kerbin. For a second there, I thought I was going to crash into Kerbin, but we should be okay. And it looks like we're actually going to get a really good... So I'll put a maneuver node here and circularize. And to give you an idea of what kind of orbit this is looking at, or looking like, there we go, words, not working today. It is very weird. It's like a Pac-Man. Alright, so we're going to time warp to the maneuver. There's only a 19-second burn. Minmus is so happy about being mentioned. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot with Minmus. All right, we are at our maneuver node, about a minute out, and I have to be really careful because if I burn even a little bit extra, it's gonna launch me out into solar orbit. The gravity assist of this new moon is absolutely crazy. Pac-Man maneuver node gonna eat the moon. Yeah, oh yeah. All right, so we're 23 seconds out from our burn. It is only a 19-second burn. And like I said, I'm going to stay in the map screen for the most part just because I want to make sure that we are nice and close so you guys can see just how amazing this moon is. What should we name the new moon? Well, I'll let you guys decide that as soon as you guys see it. Now we're going to get nice and close so you can see every little detail. And then once you guys see the moon, then you guys can decide on a name, and then we'll name it that. All right, we are 19 seconds past our burn, so I should probably start burning now. There we go. And I'm actually going to continue... No, I'm not. I'm going to do this correctly. There we go. All right, so now at periapsis, I'm going to add another maneuver node. And I am going to, actually, I have a better idea. We're going to risk this. Go ahead and warp to the periapsis. The new moon should be Jum. Why should it be Jum? Alright, so now that we're over here, we're going to swing around retrograde, and we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, and see what we can do with it. We're going to bring that periapsis down to about 450 meters, which is about as close as I can safely get. That's not going fast enough. Should probably slow down just a little bit. So maybe I should keep it around 500. Yeah, 460 works. And then we're going to... Oops, wrong button. Add a maneuver right here to circularize. I said circularize. And that should bring us about as close as we need to be. All right, so this is where it gets really crazy. So now I need to make sure I'm actually facing the correct direction. Does it have an atmosphere? Not that I know of, no. No, it definitely... I'm pretty sure it does not have an atmosphere. It's taken a while to get to this maneuver node. There we go, we're 22 seconds out. We finally made it into the right direction. And 10 seconds to burn. It's a 22-second burn. I'm going to do this really carefully. Alright, and we are burning. And slow it down just a little bit. There we go. We're getting close. Closer. Alright, there we go. Close that out now. We are nice and close to this new moon. Now, I've made it very suspenseful. I've talked it up quite a bit. It is absolutely amazing. It is incredibly beautiful. And so now we're going to come out of the map screen, and I will let you guys see the planet. Or the moon, rather. And there it is. Do a little bit of time warp here so you guys can see it a little bit better. And the sun's blocking it out. Let's get around to the other side. A little bit faster here. What do you guys think? Are those city lights at the bottom of it? No, this is an entire meme moon. The entire surface is covered in memes. So that is what I worked you guys up for. I figured after what are we on, like 6 or 7 live streams of Kerbal Space Program, I figured I would troll you guys just a little bit. But this is a legitimate moon that has, you know, gravity and all of the things, but it is one big massive meme. So now that I've trolled you, we should rename it to meme. Yeah, so now that I've trolled you guys, let's talk about the trolls that we have on my YouTube channel. That is a fun thing to talk about. I love it. I absolutely love it. Because someone has systematically gone through my entire channel and disliked all of my videos. However, because my channel is small, I was able to watch live as they did all of these things, and I saw that on my shorts, I was getting multiple views on my shorts as they were disliking it. And so in order to dislike it, they would have had to watch it, meaning I'm getting the views from it. So if any of you out there that have disliked my video are watching, I appreciate you, and I thank you for the views that you did in fact give me. But that was you, Lev? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm getting the views anyway, so those dislikes don't affect me. YouTube ignores it, and I appreciate you guys. And then more so, I appreciate those of you that are watching and hanging out with me. You could have watched just about any other of hundreds of millions of channels, but you're choosing to spend your time with me. So I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. According to the algorithm, about 69% are not subscribed. So it's free to do. Just hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. And now let's set our trajectory for Minmus. Alright, so to get out of this orbit, we're going to go for the periapsis because, you know, you go for your highest speed, it kind of helps boost you out of it. Minmus is way over here, and so I think if I bring myself, if I get the right, there we go. If I can get myself out of, oops, I'm hitting buttons again. If I can get myself out of the gravity well of what is aptly known as the silly planet, as you guys have called the mem or meme. I think we should call it the meme moon. It's hard to say. Alright, so I think this should, in theory, get us out of the gravity well of this moon and get us into a place where we can get into Minmus's gravity well and get into an orbit. So we're going to add a maneuver here, and we're going to drag it out. Okay, I'm gonna crash into the moon. So we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna try this again. Go for the periapsis. That's not what I clicked. Come on. Zoom in, click, and periapsis. There we go. Functionality. I definitely have it today. The maneuver nodes are, the words not working. Maneuver nodes are trolling me. Yes, they are. It's fitting. It's definitely fitting. So we're going to get out of this gravity well and into another gravity well. I think that should be okay there. So we're going to switch around to the maneuver node. Now I'm going to go back out here just to watch that happen. We have 44 minutes till the burn, but we're going to speed that up as we get closer. You think I should pronounce it mem, not meme? Alright, we're gonna go ahead and warp to our maneuver. And a minute out. Alright, we can do that. It is the mem moon. Alright. I said I wasn't going to use time warp, but I'm using time warp. And let's go ahead and start the burn now. Yeah, it's one heck of a mouthful, that's for sure. The Mun's Mun is the Mun Junior, and then we have the Mem, and then Minmus. Two, one, and done. That should put us just about where we need to be. Get rid of that. We're going to warp to here. And we're going to add a maneuver node at the apoapsis to circularize. And as you can see, this moon is causing all sorts of fun little issues with our maneuver nodes. So let's go ahead and warp to the maneuver. I should probably also select that. Kind of a silly orbit for a silly planet. It is taking forever to maneuver the spacecraft because all of this is basically on its own, doing its own thing, and it's only being controlled by this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. Alright, there we go. We made it with 30 seconds to spare. So what do you guys think of the mem moon, as you guys want to call it? Do you think that was a fun little trip, or do you think that was a waste of time? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I'm 3 seconds past the burn. Get that out of the way. There we go. Get rid of that, and it's gonna grab me again, so I need to add another maneuver node here and see if I can't pull that away to get over to here. Ooh, that is a lot of lines. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to end up with this, but I'm going to end up somewhere. That is for sure. So I think if I bring this out just a little bit more, and then bring that around. Yeah, so if I can get away with it, I will leave this moon in here for all of our future adventures. Now, if you guys don't know, I also have a Discord server you guys can join at any point, and you can hang out, you can chat. I spend some time in VC, not a huge amount lately, but if there are people in there hanging out and chatting, I might stop in. I'm going to go ahead and warp to our maneuver. And a minute out, I'm going to use the time warp I said I wasn't going to use. stopped it just in time. It's only a 4-second burn, and go. And stop, and go, and stop. And whatever is happening here is going to end up sending us straight out into solar orbit. So the next moves we make are going to be incredibly important. I'm going to circularize there. Then I can bring this down from there. I just don't want to leave Kerbin's sphere of influence. The orbit lines are dancing around? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're doing all sorts of fun little things. Because this has me going up and around here, up through here, getting captured by the MEM, and then launched over here, and then the MUN grabs me, and Kerbin grabs me at the same time, and launches me out into solar orbit. So we are 2 days, 22 hours from the maneuver node. We're going to go ahead and fast forward. I'm also going in the opposite direction of Minmus, so what I'm going to attempt to do, now I don't know if this is going to work, so we're going to make a maneuver node for it, is I'm going to attempt to flip my direction a full 180. But I want to make sure I'm circularized first before I start messing around with that. I'm going to use the time warp I said I wasn't going to use again. There we go, and go ahead and burn. That was a very quick burn. Perfect. Ish. Get rid of that. So now if I speed up time, I said if I speed up time, there we go, now we can see rotation. We're going in the opposite direction of Minmus, and I would rather not crash into Minmus at like 3,700 meters per second. It is an incredibly risky move. However, if I am successful at this, you guys have to share this with as many people as you possibly can and get them to subscribe to the channel for more crazy adventures that make no sense whatsoever. We're going to add the maneuver, and we are going to look just like this, because I also have to be on that same plane. And we're going to flip it a full 180. Oof, this is going to be scary. Have I ever had borscht before? Yes. Yes, I have. Alright, we are 3 hours away from the maneuver. We're going to go ahead and fast forward to that. Looks like it's going to be a slow fast forward. One minute out. We're going to use a time warp I said I was going to use again. And stop. 2, 1, and oh, I'm not where I need to be. Not where I move. There we go. We're sort of where we need to be. This is... I don't even know if this is gonna work. Oh, it looks like it might have worked. Do some crazy lines here. And 2, 1. There it is. We have fully flipped our direction mid-space, and now we are going the same direction as Minmus. So now we can make some adjustments and get our orbital line just about where Minmus is. You're having it for dinner? Yeah, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and add a maneuver. Circularize brings us out. So we're going to go ahead and bring it in to about there. Right about there we go. We're going to warp to that because that's 7 days away, and I am pretty much on my maneuver point. All the orbit lines changing would have made you panic and get flung away. Yeah, I will not say whether that's happened to me or not. There's a reason I dropped the boosters into the sun, and it wasn't on purpose. I got flung into solar orbit, and I needed to get rid of all that extra weight, and the sun happened to be right there. The sun didn't say no, so I just sent some boosters that direction. 20 seconds out from the burn, that is 0.2 seconds. It is not very much. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and start that. And stop, 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 stop. Oh, I went a little bit too far, but that's okay. We can work with that. So if I warp to, say, here, we should actually get an idea of how quickly it's approaching us. Let's hope the sun didn't take it personally. Yeah, well, I mean, the sun hasn't said anything, so I haven't said anything either. Warp to here again. We're getting close. We're getting very close, so maybe warp to here. Alright, it looks like it's going to... Oh, wait. Wait a second. Looks like the mem is going to grab us again at some point. I don't like the idea of that. So we're going to warp to, say, here. Oof. I don't like the looks of that. How about to here? You can't wait to see the reaction of the mission control when they realize what mem is. Yeah. That'd be a funny reaction to get, that's for sure. So, how about to here? Warp to here. Because it looks like we are getting relatively close. And I think if I get just a tiny bit closer, I can actually bring our orbital line down just enough to get picked up by it. I'm not entirely sure, though. It is trying to get me caught up in the orbit again. But I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to add a maneuver here. And let's see if we can circularize again. And just barely get taken out of there. I think if I bring this way just a tiny little bit. There we go. It's still looking like it's gonna grab me at some point. Maneuver these around just a little bit and see what happens with that. If I can bring that to there, bring this to here, bring this down to there, bring this back out to here. It's still going to grab me there. Look at it. It's looking like right here is probably my closer bet. Nah, that's the wrong direction, I think. There we go. So we'll grab that maneuver point there. What is this looking like? Looking like the sun. Alright, let's fast forward to our maneuver. Oh wait, it looks like it's not going to grab us anymore. So I think I can cancel this. Oh wait, no, it's going to grab us again. What happens if I fast forward to here? Because Minmus is getting close, but if it lines up with the mem, then it's going to cause a few issues. Because I might get caught up in Minmus, but then I might also get flung into the mem, which will then fling me out of the influence of the mem, and then back into the influence of the mem, and then just kind of bounce me back and forth for a while. Minmus having low gravity can be tough with new. Yes, I did, however, the thumbnail image is actually me landing on Minmus with this new moon in orbit. So I know it is possible. However, that mission didn't make it home. We're not going to talk about what happened there. I'm going to add a maneuver here. We're going to bring this out just slightly. What does this do? That puts us there, that puts us there, and there, and there. But what happens if we were to go retro? Get rid of that. Because we are basically there. I'm going to set that as target. No, so that'll bring me down. And then I'll get grabbed by that gravity well. So I need to burn outwards. So I will add a maneuver node right here. 31 minutes, 20 seconds away. And I will bring it outward to here. And that should do me some good. So we'll flip around to our maneuver. I think my staging is a bit broken. My staging or my maneuver capabilities? My staging still looks okay-ish. You know, for the most part. But what I'm concerned about is the fact that Minmus and the mem have lined up pretty well, and the gravity of the mem is definitely way higher than Minmus, for sure. Alright, we are at our maneuver direction. So we will time warp to the maneuver. Apparently very slowly. And of course, now that I've made this maneuver node, it's saying that it's not gonna catch me in orbit or in the gravity well. But if I move a little bit, it says it is. So just to be safe, we're just gonna push out just a little bit, and it's only a 1 second burn. So go like this, go like that. Get rid of that, and weird things happen over here. So now I think we should be able to warp to here without any more issues. Oop. It's gonna grab me. Alright, so we need to add a maneuver here. And bring it way out. In a direction that doesn't involve getting caught up by this planet. Oh, it's gonna put me into orbit again. Well, this is a bit of a pickle. Orbit stealing my encounters, yes. add a maneuver here. And what if I were to... No, wrong direction. No, also wrong direction. Go like, whoop, wait, we might have something. We might be able to save this. Oh wait, it's gonna make me crash right into it. What's this? This is a second encounter right there. So I need to get outside of it again. That is the goal. I might have to orbit around it again and push it forward just a little bit. And that is the escape. This is slightly complicated. That's an escape. And then that's an encounter. This requires a lot more math than I anticipated. Because things are lining up just right to be really difficult. So we're going to go with this one. We're going to switch over to the maneuver. While we wait for that to rotate, I'm going to consume more caffeine. Alright, so our burn is 2 hours, 28 minutes away. We're going to fast forward over to that once we have reached our position. Close enough. We can work with that. Let that settle out before I time warp, even though I said I was going to use time warp. Jebediah is okay. He's taking some time off. That's why we're using a probe to do a little bit of exploration. He decided that he wanted the day off. And I couldn't really say no after that Kraken attack. Oh, and I'm 12 seconds past the burn, so let's go ahead and do that now. There we go. So now we are completely out of... What is this? That's an escape, another encounter, and another encounter. This mem moon is becoming a bit of a problem. So that's going to give us our escape. So we're going to use manual time warp to see what we can do here, because this is very finicky. So we're going to very slowly and very carefully escape. Which should give us the ability to... I'll pause that there. That's an escape. That's a quick throw around the planet. Or moon. So I think if we add a maneuver right here to circularize and then bring it to the same plane as Minmus. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the lines and then line up my line with the line, which looks pretty good. Right there. And that should, in theory, get us completely out of the MEM's influence. So we're going to switch around to that. We have 4,262 meters of Delta V left. Like I said, this rocket was capable of going into solar orbit, launching the boosters into the sun, and then getting back into Kerbin and landing on just Delta V. You think that's important for transferring to other moons and planets? Yes. Oh yeah. For sure. We are a day and 19 hours out. We're going to go ahead and time warp to that. And there we are there. It's only a 3-second burn, so I'll time warp, even though I said I wasn't going to. 2, 1, and burn. There we go. So jump back over here, jump back over to here, get rid of that, and now we are on to our next burn. So we're gonna switch our direction over. Your manned interstellar probe with 3 Kerbals has gone so far you can barely see the Kerbal system. It is possible. It's basically endless space. I did an experiment once with an electric engine with essentially generators that never really run out. And I wanted to see how far I could go before I broke the game. And after, I think it was like 4 hours of letting it run on max time warp, it was still going without any issues. So it is basically endless. A minute and 10 seconds out. It's only a 1-second burn to get our orbit in line with Minmus. Alright, I'm gonna use the time warp. I don't feel like waiting anymore. We're gonna very carefully do this burn. And there it is. We're basically there. I'd say we're close enough. We're going to go to the periapsis and add a maneuver to circularize, and it looks like we are pretty much dead on. They can definitely be hard to do. What I found to be the best way to do it is to use your shift and control and just barely start your engines. Just so you can get that tiny little bit of boost while also not overburning. So we are circularized pretty well, so I'm going to bring our orbit in to right there. And then I'll go to the periapsis over here, add a maneuver, and bring it in this, oh, wrong way, this way. And it looks like somewhere in this mess we have an encounter with Minmus. So I will switch to our maneuver direction. Yeah, so I forgot that I needed to adjust my orbital line to match Minmus because the Mem moon is on a flat plane with the Mun and the Mun Junior, as well as Kerbin. And Minmus is on a canted plane. So now that I've adjusted that, I should be okay. We are on our maneuver positioning, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward. And I feel like that's about close enough. So we're going to, it's a 0.4 second burn, so I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. There we go. Get rid of that one, switch over to this maneuver direction. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and fast forward time. Oh, that's bright. That is very bright. The big ball of fire over there called Duna. We should go explore that at some point. Eve is right there. Got some moons over there. We got Gilly way out over there. All right, so we are 35 seconds away. Go ahead and fast forward just a little bit. There we go. And just in time to do our 0.4 second burn. There we go. And somewhere in this mess of flickering lines, we will have an encounter. So we're going to go ahead and time warp just a little bit. We're going to watch really carefully, because this is where things get nice and finicky. In theory, it should intercept us. Where am I? There we are. And it looks like we are having problems with the mem again. Oh boy. So we're going to add a maneuver node here as a just in case. Actually, no, we're going to warp to here. It is catching up, but it looks like the silly planet is going to be more of a problem. The mem moon is going to be a problem. I thought we were at a good distance, but apparently we are not at a good distance. It has some serious influence over this area. Go ahead and warp to here. Martin, welcome in. So you'll have to go back and watch from the beginning to see what we discovered. It is effectively called the Mem Moon. It is a meme moon. So to see it, you'll have to go back and watch, preferably from the beginning, just so you can get an idea of what's going on. But now we are going to make an attempt at landing on Minmus. However, I am now in the wrong place at all of the wrong times. So we're going to slow down our time warp because I just got grabbed by the other moon again. So I think what we should do is go with a good old-fashioned retrograde burn. You don't want to. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, you're definitely going to miss out on seeing one of the most amazing moons you have ever seen in the entirety of KSP. It was definitely an effort-filled moon, and it looks absolutely amazing. You should definitely go back and check it out once this live is over. Alright, so we're gonna see what a retrograde burn does for us, and hopefully it'll help us out here. I'm really hoping it'll help us out. And there we go. We have some better things happening. Now, I wonder... Yeah, so I'm going to escape there, go back into Kerbal orbit, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to keep burning. Can't go wrong with continuing the burn. And I'm going to be out into solar orbit. I should go ahead and flip her around to prograde. Or is it retro? It's retro. We should switch to retrograde. Yeah, some very important decisions were made. That is for sure. What happened at the KSE? A new moon entered the orbit of Kerbal, and after the crash landings on the Mun broke a chunk off and put a moon in the orbit of Mun, effectively giving us Mun Jr., they decided to do some things around the Space Center that I didn't know about. So you'll definitely have to go back and watch, because there's a lot of key moments that you miss. So we're going to continue on with trying to get out of this orbit and out of the influence of this moon and try to get into Minmus orbit. So we are retrograde. We're going to go ahead and burn that down just a little bit so we can get over here. Swing around to right there. We're going to still have an encounter there. So I want to escape and then another encounter there. Let's bring us to here. I think, is this the exit? No, that's the encounter. I think if we add a maneuver node here, and then such tiny adjustments, and somehow I ended up on a completely different plane. So the Mun Jr. is technically the moon of the Mun, which is the moon of Kerbal. So I guess you could say that the Mun Jr. is the sub-Mun of Kerbal. We're going to get rid of that, because that did not work at all. Why am I so all over the place? This moon is doing some weird things to my orbital lines. However, what I am thinking I'm going to do is go ahead and just do a, this is the escape. So I'm going to go ahead and add maneuver here. We're gonna orbit. We're gonna bring that orbital line out. Wait, do I have something? That's another encounter with the mem. Yeah, so for those of you who missed it, I will go ahead and that is one big massive scramble of orbital lines that make no sense in this jumbled mess of planetary existences. Let's get rid of that. Go to the periapsis, add a maneuver, go ahead and circularize, switch over to the maneuver positioning. It does look like spaghetti. This is incredibly difficult to work around. I am running out of Delta V. I did not plan for this taking this long. I expected to be landing on Minmus by now. However, the planet of memes has had other thoughts. So we're going to go ahead and time warp over to our maneuver node. And we're going to go ahead and burn. And we'll bring our periapsis down all the way to 500,000. That way we can get nice and close. There we go, and then we'll go over to the periapsis, add another maneuver right there. Switch over to that. Go to low Kerbal orbit, and then go to Minmus from there. We could definitely try that. That's a good idea. We'll try that. However, we have to get nice and close to the Mem moon. So those joining us now can see how amazing this moon actually looks. We are 12 seconds past our burn. And that should be close-ish enough. That is not what I wanted. Why am I going back out? Let's go ahead and add maneuver here. Circularize and bring it down even further. And even further. And even further. And just a little bit further. That works. Yeah, so you can't really see what it looks like from this far away. It's just kind of a speck out there. But I'm going to get us nice and close. We're going to time warp over to our maneuver. And I realized what I did wrong on that last maneuver attempt, and that was I didn't time warp to the maneuver node before trying to execute the maneuver. Which is okay, we fixed it. There we go, we're a minute out. I think that's close enough. We can burn that through. And our periapsis coming down to right about there. Okay, maybe we're a little bit closer than I wanted to be in the first place. We're going to zoom in just a tiny little bit. We're going to get rid of that one and add another one here. Add maneuver, circularize, and that brings our 350 meters. That is the closest I have ever been to this planet. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Let's go for it. And the forever twist and turn. We still have plenty of Delta V left, so I'm not too worried about that. And I do have the electric engines as a backup. Yeah, so I can't let you see it just yet. We're not close enough. Time warp to our maneuver. I really hope the gravity doesn't pull me straight in, but we'll find out. as we go ahead and execute this burn. Yeah, Minmus doesn't need that much Delta V technically, but as you guys have seen so far, getting away from this new moon is incredibly difficult. Alright, that's about as close as I feel comfortable doing. We are definitely in orbit around it. Make you guys nice and dizzy, and you guys ready to see it? Alright, and 3, 2, 1, there it is. Oh wait, maybe I should turn around. Or, how about I wait just a little bit longer, come over to here, and warp to here. Yeah, I just trolled you again. That is my job. Alright, so now that we're in a better place where there's good light, you'll be able to see it way better. And 3, 2, 1, there it is. Oh wait, where is it? Oh, it's right there. There it is. The meme planet, or moon. It is a moon with the entire surface covered in memes. So at the beginning of this live, I hyped this up and trolled everyone watching. And now I've done it again. It's the memus. Yeah, so this is what it looks like up close. This is the other side of it, now that it's had some time to rotate around Kerbin. So now that you guys have seen that, we'll go ahead and time warp a little bit here, just so you can see the whole thing. I gotta kind of move with it. I'm in one weird orbit. That's okay. It's a little dark over here on the other side. However, eventually, the sun will come out. And there's the meme planet. I'm gonna go ahead and stop that time warp now. And let's see what we can do about getting out of the influence of this moon of trolls. So we're gonna add a maneuver node. Yeah, so this is the reason I did not zoom in to do all of these maneuvers, is because you can see the whole thing right here. There is a toaster on it. So now I'm gonna add a maneuver node at the periapsis. And I'm gonna get myself out of there. Cross over to here. Wait, what do we have? Oh, another encounter with the mem. There's an escape there, there's an escape there, there's an encounter there. This is absolutely insane. That is one crazy plane, too. Let's bring that down to here. That looks pretty good. Are there any encounters at the closest approach right there? So I wonder if I can swing this around. Bring it out, not in. Nope, too far. Way too far. What's this? Another encounter with that moon. Yeah, so this is roughly the same plane as Minmus. So that was the last one I tried, and that did not work. However, what I'm trying to do is see where my closest approaches are, and then try to work it from there, because we're in orbit right now, so we don't have to worry about time limits and time frames and all of that stuff. I can spend the next 32 minutes trying to figure this out. I'm not going to, but I could. Bring that over this way. Whoop, too far. Wait, too close. I wonder. Wait. I had something. Oh, too far. Come on. And then bring it around over here. I wonder if I can just barely. I may have to actually flip my entire direction around and just do the head-on approach, because this moon is just sucking up all of the gravity out of the well. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to add a new one to the periapsis. We're going to get us... Whoops, wrong direction. Out of here. Wait, what's this? Oh, curb and escape. Who knew? Too far. Let's try that again. Oh, too close. Too sideways. Two other sideways. Come on. Come on. Stop it. One more time. Third time's the charm. Third set of 1,000. So let's get out of here. It uses the force. Let's see here. Wait, what's this? There's another encounter with... it's an escape. Let's try... And now I'm back up to there. Why am I so incredibly warped around? Let's bring that to here. That's roughly the same plane. Does that give us... No, it gives us another encounter with that moon. Huh. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to go ahead and burn prograde. And see what that does for us. Because if I can get out to here, I can circularize, get on the same plane, flip my entire direction around going head-on with Minmus, and then I can make my encounter from there. Because that's something I can probably do a little bit easier. Is that doing anything for us? Yes, it is. Yep, that's doing good stuff. Keep burning hard that direction. Make sure we're not going to crash into anything. And that looks about right. Go over here. Add a maneuver. Circularize. So I'm still in orbit. Let's go ahead and continue. Out there we go. Oh, and now I'm in solar orbit. Okay. Curb and escape is over here, so if I run right there, zoom way in, maybe it'll let me grab this line. No, it will not. All right, so I need to circularize with this moon. Once this eventually gets over to this little node right here, I can figure out exactly what's going on. What is actually going on is it looks like I'm getting flung out. So now I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of this one. And right here, get rid of that, there we go. Add maneuver here. Circularize, and that's still putting me circling that. Why is that doing things? That's the wrong thing. Warp to here. Don't go out yet. Spin around retro. Oh, this is very close. This is way too close. And let's try to burn our way back so we don't escape. And I'm back in orbit around that moon. Maneuver tool on the right side of the screen. Are you talking about this one right here? Or are you talking about underneath all of this where we have all this stuff? Precise maneuver. Alright, let's see here. Let's add everything. There we go. What is our periapsis? Our periapsis is not terrible. So to start, I am in a good place to add a maneuver to bring this around to here. That's too far. All right. Okay, so this is a lot more stuff than I'm used to seeing. So we're gonna try to explore all this stuff together while we warp over to our maneuver to get out of this weird little orbit that we're currently in. There we go. We have a 3-second burn. I'll just go ahead and do that right now. Close enough. Still a little weird, but we can work with this. Oh, this up here? That's just your action sets. Or are you talking about this? It's the flight engineer. Maneuver. Sure, we can add that to that list of... There we go. My list of things that I typically look at. We'll continue messing around with it and see what happens with it. For now, what I want to do is kind of get us to a point where right here... Now this is in the way. I'm going to take that out. Take that information out, just so that's a little bit smaller for us. And... maneuver to... descend. Let's see here. Okay, move this around a little bit. Swing that around a little bit. Whoops. Bring that to here. I'm escaping there. So if I can get around Kerbal, or Kerbin rather, I can change my orbital plane to match min-miss. And then I'll line it up to be exact on. And then let's see what happens from there. I think I can get rid of that one. We will start our movement to the maneuver position. Which also takes a while. I still have plenty of Delta V to work with while we're doing this. Worst case scenario, I drop the lower stage into the MEM just as a way to get rid of it, of course, and then use the electric engines. Now we're going to warp to our maneuver. Actually, I think if I do this correctly, when this passes min-miss, I might be able to burn out of that orbit into min-miss orbit. And it should be at periapsis, so I'll be going fast enough. Oh, let's try that. Wait, what's my periapsis? 718? Let's try it. Let's see what happens with that. So, let's try to get... one more rotation out of it. And around. And slow down time. Add a maneuver here. And then bring around. Bring up the plane. Bring up the plane a lot. Now, where will it be at that point in time? Add a maneuver. Still too low. We'll get rid of that one. Now, so I will get rid of that, and we'll go back to plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and possibly even G at this point. Add a maneuver. And then bring this plane level-ish. That's not there, because I didn't do that right. So we will go to here. Add a maneuver. Line that up. And bring that down. There we go. So that should be a pretty flat plane. Yeah, this is incredibly complicated because I did not foresee this this moon being such a major issue, seeing as during testing I was able to circularize, orbit a couple times around, and then launch myself straight to min-miss and have more than half my delta V left before I got to Kerbin. Alright, so now let's go ahead and warp to the maneuver. Well, can't time warp because this is in my way now. This is an adventure. See, even with Jebediah on leave, I still can't escape his mischievous adventures. I feel like at that point it's not a him problem. I think it's a me problem. There we go. Now at periapsis, we're going to add a maneuver. I said at periapsis, close enough. We're going to add a maneuver. I'm going to start switching that around to bring us into Kerbin orbit. Make sure that's not going to send us out into the... This should, in theory, work to get back into Kerbin orbit. At which point I can circularize and then adjust my plane to match min-miss. We'll time warp over there. And that should be close enough. That was a very quick burn. Go ahead and warp to, I think, here. Should do it. Wait a second. I am finally out of that moon's influence. And stop the time warp. Out of curiosity, I wonder. We go here, add maneuver, bring it around. Oops, too far. Bring it around to here. Still too far. That moon is getting in the way. If we do this, bring us to here. Bring our orbital line to here. That's not going to tell us anything till we're proper. Wait, I saw something. Saw something promising. Another encounter with a silly planet. Right. Another encounter there. What if we were to just to here and bring this the other way back to where we were? So let's get rid of that. So that's not gonna work. What I am, however, gonna do is go ahead and circularize right here. Add maneuver, circularize, change that to here, go down here, move this out of the way. That's not the one I want. That's the one I want. Is that it? Patches control. No. That's what I wanted to get rid of. Now I can do this. So now that we are in position, we're going to go ahead and time warp over to our maneuver node. Go ahead and start that burn and bring it to here. And eventually we'll, yeah, that's going too slow. There we go, that's a little bit better. There we go. We are back in Kerbal orbit. Get rid of that. Now go back out to the map. And instead of fighting with it, if you get dizzy easy, look away for about 3.5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we are warping. And I've been grabbed by something. That there. Get rid of that. Let's try that again. Something is capturing me. I bet it's the Mun. Or the Mun Jr. But I think we're in a good place to stop the time warp. Add a maneuver. Let's see what this does for us. That's the wrong direction. Let's try this direction. Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna flip my entire orbit. Harrison, what you missed was we went around the Mem Moon again, just so those who were just coming in could see it. And then ever since then, we have been trying to get an encounter with Minmus, but every time I try to get an encounter, all I'm getting is just re-encountering the Mem, which is proving to be incredibly difficult to escape. No matter what I have tried, I have always had just endless encounters with it wherever I happen to have been. Even way out on the line over here, I'm still getting dragged into it. So now I have gone back into Kerbin orbit, and I have circularized relatively evenly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my entire orbit going the opposite direction. And we're going to try doing it that way. So I'm going to go to the periapsis, add a maneuver, and we're going to flip it a full 180 degrees. And then we're just going to go ahead and move to our positioning. And for this, I'll do this on the outside here so you can see. We're going one direction as of right now. This is a very large burn, and I am barely going to have any delta V left. So now I'm going to warp to the maneuver. And I'm going to time this perfectly. So that way, no mistakes are made at all for any reason in any way. And we are past our burn. I got to start that real quick. This is a huge burn. We have officially lost our orbit. We are falling back to Kerbin. Hopefully we have enough going on here that we don't stay that way. And just like that, we are back in orbit, going the opposite direction. There we go. And now we have a Mun encounter. A very rapid one. Ah. So there's that. So I need to bring that. Actually, you know what? We have 7 seconds of delta V left. Go back to the map. Let's go ahead and let that encounter the Mun. Now we are entirely electric power. Yes, yeah, I do occasionally use Z and X. However, for these tiny little burns that take just about nothing, I just use the shift and control just to get those small little movements. So now I need to go over here, add a maneuver, and let's see if we can get ourselves out of the Mun's problematic influence. So we'll go over to here, get way out here, going entirely the wrong direction, even though we are on a flat plane currently. Looks like the Mun is going to cause some troubles with that one. So we'll go here, add a maneuver. What does that do for us? Not a whole lot. So we're going to bring this down ever so slightly. Just out of the reach of the Mun. Then we're going to add a maneuver here to bring this down until our periapsis matches here. Alright, so now I can move around a lot faster because it's much smaller. And then we are 47 minutes away, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward. Harrison, yes, hitting the tilde key will focus your ship on the map screen. "45 seconds to burn." I'm going to go ahead and fast forward, even though I said that I wasn't going to fast forward. And time to burn. There we go. And then we're going to fast forward to this one. Flip the rocket around. Oh, the probe at this point. Landing probe. And we're going to time warp again. Then we're going to burn. Oof, that was close. There we go. We are out of the moon's, or the Mun's influence, I do believe. And then we're going to go ahead and switch to this. Apparently, the stage that I just sent into the Mun did not go to the Mun. So now I need to try to deorbit this with very little fuel left. Oh, and something happened. No electric charge. I didn't pay attention to it quick enough. Well, I'll let the tracking station take care of that. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't here at the time. Alright. So now we have a nice even plane here. Zoom out to here, wherever that is. We're going to line this up roughly. Add. Come on. Add a maneuver. Line this up again. As exact as I can get it. Right there seems to be about as exact as I'm going to get it. And we're going to drag this. I grabbed the wrong place. There we go. Add maneuver. Line up again. And drag. There's a lot of orbital lines involved here. Alright, there's that part of it. We'll at least get that done. There we go. 18 hours from burn. We're going to go ahead and burn over to there and do it as exact as possible. As you guys can see down here in the very bottom, the burn time doesn't show up because this is all electric engine with no fuel involved. So it's not going to show me anything. Perfect. So now I should be on the exact same plane as Minmus. So we're going to add a periapsis maneuver and drag our line out. And I think if I do it correctly, I'm pretty sure being out here should be out of the reach of the MEM. It should be. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna go ahead and time warp to our maneuver node. Minute out from burn. I will do this one as exact as possible as well. 5 seconds out. And we'll burn now. There we go. I leave the map screen, it always makes me look at the sun. So we are going to get rid of that now. Go to the apoapsis. Add a maneuver. See what the circular eyes gives us. That's not too bad. I think we can work with that. Warp to our maneuver. Jump over to our location. All sorts of weird things are happening now. Not sure how I feel about this. I'm gonna go to the tracking station and get rid of that. 5 seconds out from burn. Start the burn. Do it rather quickly. A little bit too quick. Let's go retro real quick. Get rid of that. I mean, it can't really grab us if we're that far out, but I'd rather bring that down just a little bit. Until our periapsis and apoapsis match our descending and ascending. About as close as I'm gonna get, I think. Alright, so now we have to do a quick little time warp just to make sure we're actually where we need to be. And if I time it perfectly, like 100% perfectly, we are going to have an encounter with Minmus at rather fast speed. Alright, so Moment of truth. We'll add a maneuver right here. That should bring us into contact. We're going to ignore the random encounters with the MEM. And we're gonna chance this one. Time warp over there. That is incredibly close. We're gonna time warp. Here goes everything. That should give us an encounter with Min-Miss. I don't know for sure. So we're only going to warp to here. So we need to add another maneuver node right here. Way down. I think almost there we go. Now we have our encounter with Min-Miss. Finally. After an hour of fighting with the MEM moon, we have finally gotten our encounter with Min-Miss. Until the MEM pulls it away again. We're going to time warp over to our maneuver. This has been an absolute battle with this new moon to be able to keep out of its gravity well and get encounters with Min-Miss, with Kerbin, everything. So it definitely makes me happy that we are able to actually get the encounter we're looking for. And go ahead and burn. There we go. And that was a perfect burn. Get rid of that. And it looks like somehow we've lost our encounter. Stop the time warp. Wait, is it gonna... Ah. It has tricked me. So now we need... We are going to get an encounter, it looks like, but it might actually be a real fight to keep it. So I'm going to add a maneuver right here to just bring this in ever so slightly to give us a lot more time to work with. Time warp to 13 minutes. And we're gonna burn. And We finally have an encounter with Minmus that's actually an encounter. Wherever Minmus happens to be. But we are going to be coming in very quick. I'm going to time warp to here. It says that we're going to have an encounter, but I don't feel like we're actually going to have an encounter. We're just going to time warp slowly. Minmus encounter in 30 seconds. The escape is right there, so right here, add a maneuver to circularize. And when I circularize Minmus, this is the orbital line that I get. That is one heck of a weird orbit. So I'm going to get rid of that and just accept the encounter in 2 seconds. 1 and 0. And I'm going to escape Minmus there. So if I go here, add a maneuver, and circularize, and then bring this, do that, bring this way down. So my periapsis is at maybe not 26,000. 58,772 meters. That should do us some good. "20 minutes out from the maneuver, we're going to go ahead and time warp that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think so far of this adventure, or misadventure, however you'd like to see it. That is a very large burn that I have to do, so I may as well go all of the way up. Thought it was going to be much smaller than it was. There we go. We have achieved orbit of Minmus. So we're going to jump over to the periapsis and add a maneuver for circularizing nice and close, so there's no possible way we can miss it. And that's close enough, I'd say. Go ahead and burn that down. There we go. We have fully circularized our orbit around Minmus. And we're in the middle of the night, so we're going to go ahead and time warp today. Maybe a little bit more day. There we go. And there's the rocky surface that we have been trying for over an hour to get an orbit around. Now, we've gotten this far. As you guys know, if we go this far, we may as well push it a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and land. I'm going to try to land right around in here somewhere. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit to get to the full light. There we go. And that puts me pretty much right on the edge of a cliff. What's the worst that can happen? Head over to the map real quick just so I can make sure my adventures here don't get me in too much trouble. Switch around to retro. And bring our periaptus down. We have to zoom in kind of a lot now. And this will put us right there. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and time warp just a little bit. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too much. We will send out the landing gear. I feel like I'm going to land on the edge of a cliff. Landing gear is going out. As I drop at 108 meters per second. It should not take a whole lot to slow down. However, I don't want to slow down too much, because I do want to get there eventually. I should probably start slowing down. There we go, that's a little bit better. 6,000 meters away. And because I can, I will time warp just a little bit further, down to about 2,000. I'm going to slow down slightly. We are very close. We are about to touch down on Minmus after over 2 hours of fighting the Mem. That surface looks pretty cool. $300 meters. And counting. We are still slowing down. I don't want to drop it below 5 meters per second until I'm well under 100. I'm still going sideways. I don't really know how I feel about that, because we're going sideways kind of fast. I'm not time warping. $70, $60, $50 meters. 20, 10. And we have touchdown on Minmus. Sort of. Let's go ahead and switch that up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't break. Oh, there goes some of the landing gear. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Don't break on me. Eventually I might slow down. Possibly. Haha. Oh, no. Eh, kinda. Sorta. There, we have officially, and quote, landed on Minmus. We are on the ground, technically. I mean, we're sideways, but we're on the ground. However, now we need to get out of here and back to Kerbin. Now the question is, how are we going to do this? Because in all of my testing, it has not gone very well. So I think if I retract the landing gear, it might give me something to ride on as I spin myself out to the radial out. So it should fall back on the landing legs. If you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. So now we're on, kind of on our landing legs. We're still kind of on our equipment too. That's our generator right there that is sitting on. Can't really wonder. I've flipped this before. But I don't think I can right now. It's not letting me. Let's go radial out. As I slowly speed up. Maybe I can bounce myself in a way that gets me up, and there we go. We have taken off from Minmus. Sort of. How about we go prograde? There we go. That was really lucky. That was incredibly lucky. I'm not entirely sure I could do that again. I do believe that should merit a like, subscribe, and hitting that bell, because that was absolutely not something I can do ever again. So we're gonna go ahead and jump back up into, there's part of the landing craft there. And we have lost our, yeah, so we have to do this kind of the old school way and hope for the best. Because I don't have any lines to work with to create a maneuver node. We're just going to get out of there. There is no line to work with to add a maneuver. Unset target. So now we're going to go with this, and then over to here. Flip around to here. Now, I do believe I could probably quick save and then load back in to get my maneuver line back, but that's okay. We'll speed up here and get ourselves into Minmus orbit again. I think we might be possibly in Minmus orbit. Focus on Kerbin. Possibly. We might be there. Now, if I have played any of my cards correctly, which, as we know for the duration of this live, I've not done that very well, I should be in orbit. Which means if I go to... Yeah, I am in orbit. Kind of. I think I should zoom that a little bit more. I have no orbital lines to work with. I have no ability to make a maneuver. I am, however, going to go ahead and... Oh, unable to save. Ah! So I have successfully broken the game. Again. This is going to be very difficult. So if I speed up time just a little bit, just to see exactly where I'm moving. Oh, well, moving over terrain. I'm apparently over terrain. So while that's there, I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the tracking station. Leaving now, I'll set you back to the last save state. You're moving over the surface. The game cannot be saved at this point. Leaving now will set you back to the last saved state, which was 5 minutes 23 seconds ago. Cancel. Nope. We're just going to hope for the best. I'm going to continue to... What is my prograde state? My prograde state is up. There are some weird glitches going on. Anti-normal. Yeah, we'll go with that. Something's going on. Huh? Well, that's not... Radial out is where? Go stability assist, and I will maneuver this myself. What is the worst that can possibly happen? Bring that down to here, because I am going way too quickly out. So I am technically in a form of orbit. Not entirely sure what kind of orbit, but I'm definitely orbiting. I have no idea where I'm going to end up, but... Let's go ahead and stop burning now, and jump over to the time warp, and... Can't time warp while over terrain. Well, I see Kerbin. So if I burn really hard right now, can I get out of here and get caught up in Kerbin? There are some weird glitches going on. And I can't save. I have no orbital lines to work with. So we're going to go with that speed. That is doing some weird things. I think that crash did some weird things to the physics because it insists that I am on the ground, but it also insists that I am over terrain, and it's not letting me save, and it is also not letting me time warp. So I'm just burning at a high rate of speed. Yeah, so situation landed. It says I'm landed. And it will not let me save. So if I try to jump over, that was 9 minutes, 26 seconds ago. So we're going to resume and see what happens. I feel like I should be going fast enough that I shouldn't be in orbit. Yeah, this is really strange. Now I've seen in other YouTubers' videos that this can happen, has happened. But I've never had it happen to me where I've lost my ability to make maneuvers. I am supposedly landed. It says right up here, situation landed. And it won't let me save. It won't let me go to the tracking station. So I'm stuck basically flying through space in the generalized direction of Kerbin, hoping for the best. Because I can't see anything. I know I'm right here. I know I'm going towards Kerbin. But I'm also moving downwards, it looks like. So I do believe the meme planet, or moon, rather, the mem, has grabbed onto me and is pulling me either directly into the planet or is going to fling me into solar orbit. So we will find out. Oh, wait, what just happened? Weird things are happening. I'm in space now. There we go. That's a good start. I think I'm going roughly in the direction I need to. I have no idea where I'm going to end up. However, I mean, this is all part of the adventure. Just trying to figure out what's going to happen, where we're going, how fast we're going. I mean, we're going 2,020.4 meters per second in orbit around something, somewhere, somehow, without being able to see. So, in due fashion for this series, the Kraken has attacked again. And we have been left to whatever fate the Kraken has decided. However, when I took off from Minmus, you can't deny that that wasn't a good takeoff. Let's see, time to periapsis is 1 hour and 52 minutes. I cannot time warp. So now, time to apoapsis, infinity. Well, I do believe I am in some form of flung out to far space. I wonder if I let myself go close to Kerbin. I wonder if I can spin around retro, burn off my speed, and get captured in Kerbin's atmosphere, or sphere of influence, and save this. However, we see the mem moon is on its way around, so I might actually get grabbed by the sphere of influence around that, and then that's what's going to fling me to infinity. And beyond. So, yeah, it looks like I'm probably going to get captured over here. So now that I have all but run out of things to say and talk about while we're waiting for this to do its thing, I think I am going to This is a very long time to wait. Yeah, it looks like I'm speeding up a little bit. I wonder. If I really speed up... Yeah, the time goes down. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I get flung into infinity. That's already in my timeline there. Or I can just burn really quickly to burn off all of this hour and 22 minutes that I definitely don't want to drag you guys through. And then we can go from there. My other option was I was just going to use cheat engine, speed up time that way, and that way we can get to wherever we happen to be going, which hopefully, in theory, possibly is Kerbin. So our time is going down to periapsis. I'm hoping that the mem moon does not grab onto us and we can just slip right by into Kerbin. But I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with it. This is definitely a new one for me. I have never had that situation where I had no orbital lines to work with or the ability to make maneuver nodes. And I have definitely not been in a position where I can't jump back to the tracking station or quick save. Wait a second. Kill off to speed. Can I? Can I? Can I? No, I can't. Aw. Back to speed. We're at 7,000 meters per second. We are pretty much at the speed of solar orbit. And we're heading straight-ish for around the rough estimated area in the general vicinity of Kerbin. And it looks like our altitude is dropping. And our time to periapsis is only 30 minutes now, but the time is dropping slower. I'm going to continue to speed up until I get to wherever it's taken me. I have zero idea where it's taken me. There's min-miss with part of my landing craft on it. And that is the generalized direction that we are going. We are going away from the sun. So if periapsis is away from the sun, then apoapsis... Wait, we have something going on here. Yeah, this is still coming around. It's moving kind of weird. We won't look at that. Now the question is, which way is up? I feel like this is up, but I also feel like maybe this is up? Or is this up? There's no way to tell up or down in space, because there is no up or down. There's left or right, but there's no up or down. We are 20 minutes from periapsis, as I very rapidly descend into... Forgot where I was going with that. Going crazy waiting for this timer to go down. We are at 12,100 meters per second. I have no idea where we are going, but we are definitely losing altitude fast. Wherever it happens to be. I'm not entirely sure I can burn this much speed off, though. Because I've been burning for so long. There's a pretty good chance I'm not going to be able to get rid of all of that speed before I hit whatever I'm going to hit. What's going on is I have lost the ability to make maneuvers. I have 0 orbital line for my craft. I cannot quick save, and I cannot jump back to the tracking station. So I am just burning as quickly as possible in the generalized direction of Kerbin to get the time to periapsis to whatever I'm going to encounter down to a reasonable amount of time to wait. However, I am realizing now that I am capping 15,500 meters per second that it's going to take a while to burn off that speed. So I'm going to wait till this number is at some point somewhere down the line a lower number, and then I'm going to flip around retro and start burning off my speed. And wherever I happen to be going, it's entirely unknown. That will be where I exist. But I am far enough away from Minmus now that it shouldn't have much influence over me. So either I'm going that way, it looks like it might be, or I'm going that way. I have no idea. but I'm going towards the generalized direction of Kerbin. Now cap 17,600 meters per second. And my time to periapsis has dropped to about 10 minutes now. However, once I hit 20,000 meters per second, I might stop it. Because this is getting a little bit ridiculous for the physics. I have no idea what's going to happen. Or what I'm going to crash into. I have no idea. I don't even know if I'm going to crash into anything or just zip by Kerbin at 1 billion miles an hour. Or... I have no idea. But it's an adventure. It's also almost 11 o'clock at night. We are 8 minutes out from whatever we happen to be crashing into. We are at 21,500 meters per second. I think that's a speed record for me. And I can visibly see the planet starting to go by. So I feel like Kerbin is in fact where we're going to end up. 22,000 meters per second. So I think I almost want to flip around retro and start burning off my speed and see if I can actually get to Kerbin. But if I start burning off my speed, I might also get caught up by the mem moon. $24,000 meters per second. $25,000 meters per second. Knowing the luck of the Kraken, we're gonna zip by Kerbin, but we're gonna just barely clip the atmosphere and burn up instantly. And at these speeds, the game can't process those physics. So I'm assuming that if that does happen, it's going to absolutely crash the game. Which is going to be funny either way. 26,300 meters per second. 4 minutes to periapsis. Let me know what you think. Should we continue to accelerate, or should we start slowing down and see if we can actually slow down? I can tell you right now, physics has pretty much broken on the planets. I'm watching the planets actually move. So let me know what you think. 29,200 meters per second. This is definitely well over the fastest I've ever taken any spacecraft in this game. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen to the physics engine when we go anywhere near a planet. We're 2 minutes out from periapsis, so wherever we happen to be going, we're going there really fast. I'm pretty sure my estimates were correct when I made all of my kind of haphazard burns to get away from min-miss. Not having the ability to make a maneuver or go to the tracking station or quick save, quick load, anything like that has made it incredibly difficult. However, I think I aimed it roughly where it needs to be. If I was going to attempt to save this, I probably should have started slowing down like 10 minutes ago. But I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen. We are 1 minute 5 seconds from periapsis. "50 seconds from periapsis, 32,500 meters per second. "33,300 meters per second. I'm pretty sure if we do anything near Kerbin, it's going to be a blink and you miss. 10 seconds from periapsis. I don't know what I'm going around though. Now it's negative time to periapsis. So it probably thought I was going to go there, but now I'm coming up on 35,000 meters per second. It still says that I am landed, even though I am not, which is the other reason I can't go to the Space Center. I can't revert flight. I can't save. I can't go to the tracking station without losing 31 minutes, 46 seconds of progress. So we're still heading in the right direction for Kerbin. I just feel like maybe we should make an attempt at saving it. But that's going to take a really long time. So I think I'll do the flyby of Kerbin if it allows me to, although I am moving incredibly slow in comparison to the amount of distance to travel. So I feel like it's going to take another hour to get to Kerbin at the current rate we're going. We are coming up on 38,000 meters per second. So what would happen if I extended my landing gear? It's the vacuum of space, but you never really know at almost 40,000 meters per second. It doesn't seem to do anything. We'll go ahead and put that stuff back in. Alright, so it looks like we have hit 40,500 meters per second as our speed. We have to be around something in orbit. I'm not entirely sure what, where, how, or when, but we are now at over 41,000 meters a second. The game is definitely bugged. And wherever we happen to be going, it's going to be very, very quick. That being said, I think it is time to call it right here at just about 3 hours. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, join me on Discord, links at the top of my channel, along with my Patreon, and I will see you on the next one.